Hello and welcome. It is the 7th of May 2019, but back on November the 13th, the price action closed at 6,290. And this will be today the highest close since that point because the next day it closed significantly lower at 5,600. Had the decline down to a hair above 31. And then established this major level of resistance here at 41, which of course came back to it again. That was a long wait. Within this, but it finally, when it got above it, it hasn't came back, not yet, and now has just continued to work its way higher. And I'm not showing the Fibonacci lines on here, but obviously getting above this, above in here at like the 48 handle. It has been a tremendous move up. And during the story of this price action, the original move came up here, corrected down, had a nice little grinding move higher, successful correction. And then after the showing strength at the 18 highs, breakout attempt, breakout fail, or failed breakout, but it actually supported the 18 lows for 4 days, taking 3 days to get up to the highs, having a break and then supporting this level of resistance, which it retested the next day and held for the last two. Today's session has broken out above that. Thus, as long as it's able to close above the 5,764 mark, and there's only 27 minutes to go, and it's over 2% above that number now, it's going to be the highest close since that original point that was being shown. And the continuation, of course, I feel that this should be making a move up to ended up decently in the 6,000s. I mean 7,000, even 73 should make a lot of sense as well. But amongst this, this was just an interesting pattern when all of this comes into play. How it was just grinding its way, starting below the 18 lows. But it even had this nice little correction here where it was very low volatile. But the story there was holding well above that most previous low that it had. And after making the slow move to the 18 highs, when it left it, it did so, breaking that key resistance, doing so with a major green candle. And then three sideways candles, three pause periods, but not enough for the 18 average to catch up. The last week was a little bit different because it closed noticeably higher than before. And it's now so far followed through. This is day number 2 of this week, 2 of 7, as it's Monday through that of Sunday on here. So we've basically completed 2 days now. So it seems as if it's continuing what it's been intended to do since it had this day in here, and that is make its move up to that decently over 6,400. Every day I've been waking up, oh, nope, not quite. But it's been a slow move. I expect it to come into play, but we'll see. Moving on to Litecoin, it isn't showing any major breakout patterns on the daily chart. Certainly not seeing highs of new levels as it is lower than these highs near 100. Definitely safe to say that I'm definitely wrong, saying I don't think there's going to be much resistance at around the 100 level. Well, technically it didn't hit it, but 98.04, close enough. It's had a good pullback, this little bit in here, then another series of about almost a dozen days of grinding lower in here. But over the last half a dozen or a couple more, you have this green candle up to the above the lows, two pause periods within the 18, and after pausing that, you have further green candle up, which obviously gets above the 18 highs, matches this previous level. There's been 3 days after this where it goes down. It comes down to the 18 lows. 18 lows was spotted in at 72. The low for the period was 71.7. So, like 28 cents off, pretty much an exact hit. But I like how it's recovered from that area and managed to move back up to the 18 average of highs within it. So you can see since the down move, well, you've had this little bit of a selling at 10 o'clock, but the market has been rebounding it well. It didn't resist the 18 of lows. Now it's having the test of the 18 highs, starting to flatten out on the short term. So getting and holding above, say around 77, then There definitely could be some great potential moving forward. And just because I just don't know what to show, I haven't done this in a while. Show the top gainer and loser on Bittrex. I haven't seen what it would be, so I have no idea. Neos is down 17% over the last 24 hours. So we're going to see a decent size red candle down day. This is the hourly time frame. And it's been continuing its decline, just showing a lot of weakness amongst the 18 average of lows practically every single day since April the 18th. It had this day here where it came up to the highs, an intraday rally. We can see it started up here, and then it's just a lower volatile market. It got because in explaining what each period means. Well, at around 8 o'clock, whatever the last trade was came in here. That means the next trade came down there. That's like stock market-ish, really. But what that tells you is that, okay, well, the close was 32 or 23.25. The open was 21.89. So after that was the case, someone sold it down. Pretty good. That's Now within the day, of course, it went up towards here, but it closed down below at this area, stayed below it here, had another reattempt in here, and it opened this day here, but came down in here. Not so bad. I mean, it closed right there, but you see how important it is when something like this happens to hold like somewhere around this area. It didn't do it for these three. Had this little bit of a rally up to the lows, and it's been, of course, down ever since. If we take a look at this on a weekly chart, this one's been around for quite some time. So there should be some good data on here. And it's been just going down and down and down. But what happens after it stops going down? It goes up. There was a long decline in here starting September of 2014. It didn't end until March of 2016. So that was about a 2 year decline. And how long has it been? Even from this high here, December of 2017, well, we're now looking at year and a half amongst this decline. But if you're not able to sell even at any of these points in here, I don't know what there is to say. This one here, you got to have your orders in, you got to be ready. You miss it, it's gone until the next one. And if you sell everything in here, you're just aggressive saying, "Oh my goodness, this is just up so much, it's 61." Well, it's right enough to make a play there. If you sell here, you avoided these gains and you avoided these losses, then a profit's a profit. And if you just keep on playing the buy low, sell high with something like this, then it's most certainly awesome to be able to profit in here because you'd have buying in here, a little bit of selling, buying in here, tiny amount of selling. But since this has been the case, other than this, it has been nothing but buying. So either this is a coin that's working its way to nothing, or at some point it's going to be ready for a decent sized rally. When you get your ass kicked like this, I would not be shocked if I found out if there's a period like this, some sort of just sick move where I see all of a sudden this thing's at like, I don't know, say like 7,000 Satoshi after like 3 days or 4 days. Or if it goes down to 500, it's back up to 1,500 or 3,000. But it has gotten its ass kicked when you look at how much it's down from. This was 120,000 down to 1,500. That's almost 100 times X loss from here, and it's most certainly a larger loss at this point. 306,000 down to 1483. That's better than a 200x decline. But considering it started back down here, I mean, if you were to think back in here, okay, it's November of 2014, the price is 1500. Man, it's down so much. It's just a great time to buy. You look at it back in here, you're like, oh, just wait for it to go to 15. Okay, there you go, right down in here. We got 1540. Let's buy. And then you just go through all of this. You don't sell up here. You don't sell up here. Well, you pretty much have the same amount that you did before. It's just so important whenever you get the opportunities to have major profit taking that you do just that. Now, particles up 18.6%. To say there's a lot of volatility right now in the market is not true, but 18%, that's it. It really should be like the 6th, 7th, 8th best. And I can't wait till days where you see, oh, the 19th best coin or 20th best coin on Bittrex is up like 20% against Bitcoin. Those type of days, uh, they will exist again, I believe. But for now, uh, what's each coin doing? What's its story? Of course, we see Neos getting its ass kicked from its 2017 low. Now, this thing started off in 2017. It hit its lows like everyone else in early December. This one went from 45,000 up to 350. So that was a good 8x move. 350,000 down to 27,000. So not a bad loss, only about 14 times. And that's you say, well, that's a big number. And you know what? In trading wise, you can make a. That's why I like to mix coins together. You mix particle with a whole bunch of other coins, you'd probably be doing okay. 27,000 here goes up to 133. So that's good for about a 5x return to this high. 133 down to 40. That's like a 3x move. And of course, daily term time frame here, the level of resistance that it had established before during the end of April. Well, we had this sell off, went to the 18 lows. However, since it came up to this point, I like how the red candle correction move here. It paused that move and today's session has got above it. Holding about that 62 handle is going to be very, very important. And technically, I think a better number would be a little lower than that for, even though that's the exact number. If I was to decide where I want to place where that key line would be, I would probably do something closer to here. That's deeper than the resistance. It's where the 18 average of highs is, so on and so forth. Thanks for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.